the build-up to this conference, quite a few people have contacted us with sort of topics that they thought should be discussed. So I've got a few of those, and a few people sit on the panel. So what I thought would sort of pick an introduction. You saw Andy, obviously earlier, former Chief Executive of Rugby House, one of the biggest alcohol service providers in the country. There's Hugo Luck there, who's the National Programme Lead Policy for the NTA. There's Chris Forbes, GP and probably most famously Ddn Qt, and Erin editor of Black Coffee and so I know Mr. Dan Garrett.
Views about that tension in the wider drug strategy, where we have a structural goal that has since been endorsed by the NTA, and supposedly now the goal of all drug treatment is abstinence. It says it's in the drug strategy, and this was repeated by the NTA. So the goal of drug treatment is abstinence as a structural issue versus the individual rights of an individual, of a person for their own person-centred treatment.
I've yet to meet the person who said, I've gone into treatment and yes, I would like to be using on top of whatever script, and I want to be dependent on the state for the rest of my life, please. I've yet to meet that person. I think what happens is when we surveyed the user survey about 3 years ago, we got about 70% of users who replied to that saying they did actually want to get out of their lifestyles and get drug free. Maybe not tomorrow, maybe not next month, maybe in years' time, and that's fine. And there is nothing in the NTA business plan or the drug strategy that will say otherwise. I think it's to the benefit of all if we actually move on from the maintenance versus abstinence debate and actually look about effective treatment for people when and where they need it that's suitable to that individual.
Chris, do you have anything to say on that?
Not that I've ever disagreed with the NTA in my life, but should not be pushed into abstinence. But actually, at the moment, those are the two choices. That you can't work if you're on the script. It may be that lots of people who have used drugs previously do not want to work in the drugs field. They should have access to any job that they want to. A diabetic who's on insulin doesn't get excluded from a job. Why should a drug user who happens to be on a script get excluded from a job just because of that? And the other point was
12 to 18 months and probably 2 years since most of the service user reps that are with us today have been involved in our area, we have constantly asked for a definition of effective treatment from the NTA, and at no time have we had a complete, concise definition of what effective treatment means and how they intend to tailor that towards the individual's needs as far as treatment's concerned.
Why mention abstinence? Why not talk about, actually we've got 100,000 people who want their own plan, and how many, if we can get 40,000 of them to achieve what they want to achieve in that plan, you don't need targets, don't need anything else. It's about human beings trying to change their lives. And we've got this whole entire system that just creates drug users as a criminal class, and I think it's utterly disgusting.
Here, here.
Go on, Andy.